Okay, everyone, welcome to week 6. We're talking about art in the media this week. I hope everyone had a very pleasant Thanksgiving, are recovered from the holiday weekend, and are ready to go. We got a few weeks left, and then you get Christmas off and New Year's off until you have to start back for the new session, unless this is your last one, in which case, congratulations if you are graduating soon. Okay, so back into week 6, art and the media. So guess what? You read the entire book at this point, so you have no more reading for week 6, 7, and 8. You're done. We do have lecture material, however, so let's go ahead and dive into that. So before you take your quiz, obviously you know this at this point, make sure you watch your lecture. It's about 50 minutes this week. I really like this lecture. This is kind of where my art history side swings into full gear. So this is a fun, interesting lecture. Make sure you download your lecture slides here so that you can view any of the material that are links in the presentation. And your video is available here, or if this link's not working, you can follow the link right here. Okay, vocabulary, a little more than the last couple weeks, but still not as much as those first couple of weeks. So some cool stuff going on. Artist of the week is Makoto Fujimura. So I want you to explore his website. He's a contemporary Christian artist, and his website looks like this. So make sure that you watch any clips that are here. So there's this one, Golden Sea. If you hit Works, I believe it'll take you to his different series. So really beautiful stuff. He is also the founder of a group called the International Artist Movement, and he's all about getting artists to kind of start to think about restoratively about kind of their job as humans in culture, and kind of to bring back and restore faith. And it's a really cool organization. But again, make sure you watch any video clips that he has on his site, then answer the following questions, please. So there's 3 questions. So this is one of the Artist of the Week assignments that you do get credit for. So this is not just an enrichment activity this week. So 1, how does Fujimura cross cultural boundaries? And when you explore his website, that'll definitely make sense. 2, how does Fujimura disrupt traditional Christian art forms in order to spread the gospel? And 3, describe your reaction to his art. So this is a lot of opinion-based stuff, kind of a little bit of critical thinking just about some of these issues. So again, make sure, I've noticed that a lot of you are submitting your answers for this type of assignment here in the comment section. Make sure that you hit write submission, and that's where the text editor comes up. This is just a comment. Your assignment will show up in a gray little box on the side. It won't show up as a full actual assignment. So it makes it just harder to read and grade that way. So make sure that you put it here, not here, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and jump back to our learning activities here. And your reflection is on an artist named Ai Weiwei. And we actually, I think we looked at him in the week 1 lecture a little bit already. Really interesting guy. Different than Makoto Fujimura's style, definitely. He's a little bit controversial, actually a lot controversial, but very much in this moment now. So this is his TED Talk. It's a couple years old, but still I think very relevant. And I want you to answer the following questions. And this is done as a discussion board, so make sure that you're commenting on peers' posts for credit. So what makes Ai Weiwei's work so controversial? How does Ai Weiwei use new media as an effective means of communication in his art? And how do you feel about his incarceration? He was put in prison in China. He rebels against their systems of regulating the media, that kind of thing, and he uses that in his artwork quite a bit. Really interesting guy. So there's a great documentary on Netflix about him as well, that if you watch this and are curious to learn more about him, I encourage you to go ahead and watch. Just a note real quick on Weiwei. He can be a little brash sometimes, and sometimes there's, cursing in his work, or different things. He uses profanity, but just kind of, preparing you for that if you come across that in any of his work. Okay, and our create project this week is a really fun one. So very little writing actually this week going on. and we're going to create a collage. So what you're going to do is, I want you to imagine you are creating an image for someone who has never set foot on planet Earth before. So this is kind of going back to that whole Panofsky thing where, we're asking, okay, would everyone understand this? Kind of building those levels of meaning. So, and we're incorporating new media into this by using collage. So how could you communicate a sense of what it's like to be alive here in the 21st century? So create a collage by combining seemingly disjointed images into one composition that describes 21st century visual culture. Include images from as many aspects of new media as possible. So we're considering film, photography, graphic design, fashion, music, memes, social media, advertising, the news. Your collage can be done digitally, by hand. It can be two-dimensional, three-dimensional, or any combination of these. So I want you to think, can you incorporate different textures, materials? You're more than welcome to just do this on a piece of paper, and that's fine, but every once in a while I have students do something kind of cool and different. So you must include a minimum of 25 images in your collage. Be sure that it takes up the majority of your picture plane, whatever you're creating on. So if you're using an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, I expect just about all of that 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper to be covered in images. Don't give me a few images kind of stuck in the middle. To submit, scan, or photograph your collage and upload it as an image attachment. So this file should be titled with your last name and assignment title. So for example, boss collage, etc. And I added this in. This is a little hint. A big part of what I'm looking for when I grade this project is influence from one or more of these artists' style and effort. So I've given you inspiration for these artists below. So let's go over these just really quickly. I've just included the Google search. So Hannah Hawk was an artist from the 1920s, 1930s, really influential on the Dada movement and into the Surrealist movement as well. She was very much interested in the way women were portrayed in the media and in political issues, and she would take images from the media, and this was new media at her time, and she would create these compositions from seemingly disjointed images. She was always kind of morphing and distorting and creating a new picture and to communicate some kind of message. So really cool stuff that she did. There's also a guy named Bruce Connor, and I've included his work as well. So if you want to look at his assemblage, and again, I'm not expecting you to be professional artists, but I'm just giving you some ideas to look as influence. His work is more what we call photo montage. He would kind of create these really cool images by combining different types of media. Okay, so there's an artist named Tom Wesselman as well. And what I would want you to focus on is kind of his images of food. I will warn you that some of his images have nudes and they can be in kind of suggestive postures, so just use your discernment on that. But what I'm kind of looking at is these kind of compositions that he does where he's kind of commenting on Americana in the 1950s, 1960s. So kind of cool stuff going on. So you could use that as influence as well. And then of course there's our guy David Hockney here, who does a lot of really cool photo montage work as well. And he tends to take a picture of an image and then break it up into pieces and then reassemble it. And so there's a lot of kind of influence. You're probably looking at this and thinking, there's something a bit cubist about this going on. So these are just some ideas to get your juices flowing, your creativity. I would say that Hannah Hawk is a really good one to look at for this project because I think she's kind of doing the same thing that we are doing. So again, a big part of how I'm grading this project is looking at influence from one or more of these artists' style, and I'm looking for effort. I don't expect you to be professional artists, but I expect you to try your best. A series of images that you've just lined up on a page, that you haven't done anything to them, you haven't manipulated, you haven't edited them in any way, that's not your best effort. So start to think outside the box a little bit, grab some newspaper, grab some magazines, start, get your hands dirty, cut and paste. You're welcome to do this digitally if you think that that's something that you excel at. Again, however, I just don't want a bunch of images stuck next to each other on a page that you haven't really done a whole lot with. So let's use our creativity. This isn't an elementary school collage, so let's kind of dig in a little bit. Okay, I think I've gone a little overboard on that now. So we have, again, our collage project, your discussion board. Make sure that you're commenting on each other's posts for full credit. Your artist of the week. So those are the assignments due. Oh, and your quiz, of course. And you've got your lecture. No reading this week. And that's what we got going on. Everything due Sunday night at midnight, as always. And have a great week.